bum 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 bum. It's the children of the Beast podcast.
Well, and if this is a show, if you want perfect people remembering perfect memories of prior events, this is the wrong show for you.
Wrong show.
This is definitely the wrong show for you. And this show
Wrong
is the Children of the Beast. Hello, welcome.
Hello,
Coming to you
people.
live from the lair of the Beast, Las Vegas, Nevada.
That's right.
The devil's butthole, one might call it.
Hotter than the devil's butthole. Yeah. Hotter than a goat in China. It's hotter than shit.
Okay.
It's 111 degrees today.
I am Andrew, and here with my Mormon brother, Carlos. Hello, welcome.
I hope all the Mormon people come after you, dude. That's what I'm going to tell you. And they're everywhere.
I'll never hear this.
You'd never realize it.
You're the only Mormon that will listen to this.
You know, I have no problem with Mormons. I want to go on record right now.
Well, of course not. You are a Mormon. Why would you have a problem with
Listen,
your people?
I am anybody that will have me. I'm with them. Except for the radicals. I'm not with them. But the Mormons are far from radicals. So, you know, it's a lot of worse things that I could be associated with that are untrue. So you do what you do. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, how's the week? How's your week?
It's fine.
How's the student government
It's just
going?
back. It's going well. There's a lot of predictably politically infighting.
In the words of Escaleta from Nacho Libre, it's political, obviously.
It's political, obviously. And I feel perfectly fine talking about this because I don't think any of them are going to listen to this. And if they do, well played. You're about to learn some shit.
It's a good problem to have.
Right?
That's what I figured. The day that this show causes me a problem outside of this show,
Whatever.
that'll be a good day.
Yeah.
Because they'll be like, oh, so you heard. Never mind your outrage. For whatever, you don't want to do business with me. What part did you like?
So I don't want to get too identifying with people here. Let's
Very well.
be innocent.
Let's call him Pusscake George.
No, I don't. No.
Okay. Let's call him the effeminate one.
No.
Okay, let's call her the straight butch.
No.
Who is... What? I have I said something offensive already?
Yeah, multiple times.
What was offensive? Is it something wrong with being effeminate?
No.
Well, it seems like it.
But the way you said it made it seem like there is something wrong.
I don't. I'm using descriptive words, sir. These are words that describe things that my eyes see. That's all.
You have a tone. You have a tone in your voice.
Oh, so you're the tone translator then.
Yeah.
You translate tone. I see. We'll play. This is a perfect time for your profession to exist, to merge. You're like a psychologist in the 1940s. Like, oh, look at you.
Okay, so basically what's happening, right, is that there seems to be a coup going on.
A coup?
Within our
Oh,
government.
okay. Well, ooh, it sounds juicy. Nerd, but juicy. Go on.
Yeah. So I get a message from one of my fellow student government members asking me just generally, you know, what do you think of the leadership? What do you think of the administration? What do you think of the teamwork that's going on right now? Now, this person is in a position where by her using the term leadership, she can really only be referring to one other person.
Is this referring to the leadership of the school's administration or within your as a student organization?
In our student
Oh,
organization.
okay. All right. Gotcha.
That's where the politicalness comes in, obviously.
I need to ask one question.
Sure.
What is the gender of the leadership being referred to?
Both of the parties involved are women.
Okay.
Young ladies. Young ladies.
All right. Okay. The world's continuing to spin in the direction I'm accustomed to. Please continue.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying, so far, like everything's framing properly with my life experience. Continue.
Okay, so right, our I don't know how. Fuck it, right? They're never gonna listen to this.
Who's the ugly one?
No.
Oh yeah, this matters.
No.
Yes, it does. Somebody uglier than the other. Who thinks she's okay? Let me re-ask it.
No.
I withdraw, Your Honor.
No.
Who thinks she's superior?
No. I refuse to answer either of these questions. I refuse to answer either of these questions. You're trying to.
Your Honor,
trying to-
permission to treat this witness as hostile.
Permission denied. Permission denied. Absolutely not. Right, so we all came into our positions within the last right before summer, right? We're the new board, as it were. And our old board, the former president, she had been within the organization as president for 2 years in a row. So as you can imagine, she had left a very noticeable mark on the organization and the way things are ran. I think anybody following her shoes would have been put in a position where you either kind of follow along with what was going on or you were going to get serious pushback.
It's tough.
Yes. And I think what's happening...
Which is probably similar to any kind of other representation of such succession.
Sure, I think
in
so.
life.
I think so, yeah.
If you're the bowling league president, I'm sure that there's some shit that comes, you know.
Right, there are way things are done for a certain amount of time. People have been within the organization, so they get accustomed to it. They feel like it's a proper way. And then when things change, you are either A, okay with it, or B, you have pushback, or C, it results in this weird dynamic.
That is 100%. In my experience, it's 100% human nature.
I don't think it isn't.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. I get this message from this.
You were being recruited.
I was trying to get recruited after me and this person have already had some tension within me and this person with themselves, just because, from my perspective, right, and maybe I'm biased because I'm the one entering this dynamic with this person, right? This person said they were going to do something. I asked them about it, and I got severe attitude and like, well, why are you even asking me about, like, I got severe pushback in a
why are you bringing up bullshit?
Yes. When it was a very, in my mind, the way I was perceiving what the task was, a very simple thing that's as simple as uploading a document.
Interesting.
And maybe there was some miscommunication in regards to what this person thought what was being asked of them. Not even asked, I guess being asked of them, but what they said they would do versus what I thought it was going to be.
Interesting.
And then this person, right, has been within our meetings being not a team player. I mean, that's kind of the best way to put it. Sorry, I moved the mic. Just not being a team player, right?
Can I make an observation?
Sure, go ahead.
And I'm making this observation of something that I use in my and not my personal life, because that would be ridiculous. I use that, okay. There are ways to get an implicit corroboration of a communication. You would not think that's necessary, but oftentimes the only way that people are going to acknowledge that an exchange was had on regards to a topic is if they're risking public ridicule for pretending to have forgotten the exchange. Sure. So I deal with a lot of IT people. And this is something that I noticed along the line. And I tell everybody the same thing. In my personal life, it's a little bit weird. I've only done it with one person, and it was because it's a person that, to use current terms, is a gaslighting person.
Sure.
So therefore, by having other people in the email communication, that person's not able to later interpret that communication in a different light to other people. People are involved in the communication. And as a result of that, that person stopped communicating with me because they were not willing to do so with a dual accountability just by way of being witnessed by other parties. But in terms of business, which this is what this is, right? All of the young people are grooming yourselves and each other to go out into the world of employment. Whatever field you're going into, it's business, right? Even education's a business and everything's a business. So my recommendation, is to do everything in a cordial, summarized email.
Sure.
Because, especially for your generation, my generation has the excuse where they still play it fast and loose, right? Where, like, my generation pretends to never miss an email when they feel outraged, but conveniently miss an email when it's up to them to have been accountable for said fucking communication, right? I've seen it with my son going back to school and parents that are like, they show up to the fucking virtual classroom the first day 5 minutes before it starts, and they start bitching that they didn't know they had to set up an email for the child. You know what? You had fucking 7 emails leading up to this for the past 2 months. And I'm sorry, but I'll be the guy to say it. If you don't habitually check your email, you a loser.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like you're part of some subscription, whether it's Dollar Shave Club or fucking whatever shit. Your Facebook has an email attached to it, you motherfucker. Like if you're on Facebook raging against what the fuck ever, and you know what I mean, like then you should have access to your email. Sorry, I don't buy it. It's in your phone. Your phone's always in your hand. Oh, this chicken head moms. They're I don't buy it. I don't buy the whole thing. But you know what happens is that now you're in a public forum. Much like the Facebook that they love to bitch on. My generation uses Facebook. Young people, I'm old. I'm 40. So, but you know what I'm saying? Like I'm there, they're all about it.
Right.
And it's all recorded and they're proud of their vomiting on there. You know what I mean? But then all of a sudden, when it's about like, and that's what I do is I get off the phone with somebody and I go, hey, this is Carlos from my company name. Just wanted to say, hey, just summarize the conversation that we just had. So I'm going to call you next Tuesday. I will have this information. You're going to work on getting a hold of such and such, and you're going to have this information, and this is what we're going to talk about next week. You know, so this happened slowly. It was like a purge of people that I did business that were full of shit and people that I do business with where it goes smoothly.
Sure.
When somebody objects to having clear communication, that person has an issue that permeates their entire life. The other people have no problem. A lot of the people I deal with are in casinos. They're used to having supervisors. And it doesn't mean that you're supervising each other, but in a sense it does. Because if we're being held accountable to a communication acknowledgement, right, then we are supervising each other. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because at that point, you cannot deny that we had this conversation. And again, there's a way for you to handle the reason that you didn't do whatever it is. You know, well, you know what? Yes. And I should have communicated that. What happened with that is that it turns out that's not going to work for us. Right. Because after I did this and this, such and such thing happened, right? And that may be the case, but your communication methodology was lacking, and therefore it failed.
Well, and this is why me and this person had kind of our tiff, right? Because she said she was going to do something. Some time went by. I sent her a message asking her, like, hey, we get an update on this. I'm curious to know if this works. Because it would be useful for what I'm doing if I could have access to this information, right? She did not respond to me for 5 days. I sent her a follow-up message like, hey, is there an update on this? She responds with an no. And that's it.
So there's a passive-aggressive
history
gaslighting of the communication, and then a completely unwarranted defensive reaction to that. As in, how dare you bring this up again, even though in silence I may have objective, and you should have interpreted my silence
as me not wanting to do this and
exactly.
Okay, which is
that's not how the world works. No. Because this is what I say. Then this is what I say to those people. You have an apartment. Try that with Cox Cable.
Right, yeah.
Okay? Do you have a student loan? Try that with your student loan. Do you have a registrar that you do your classes with? Try that with them. It doesn't work? So now you explain to me the difference between that situation and this one, and where your expectation of that difference is rooted from. And now, after you do that, then you explain to me how the fuck I would know that that's how you do shit.
And and even I feel like I like to think I can take pride in those interactions. Like, I don't think I expressed frustration at her. I don't think I was.
No, that was a projection on behalf of the other person.
But still, even throughout all of it, and her responding to me that way, I still feel like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe her perspective of it is different. Maybe she feels like I came off as totally rude, which I'm willing to concede that she perceived it as that. I would be curious to hear her reasons, if so. But from my end, I feel like I was just asking questions and trying to work with this person who I'm supposed to be working with.
And let me hit you with another thing. The reasons don't even matter. The next interaction on the next task with that person is what matters. Because this isn't a personal relationship, right? So it's not like you're trying to resolve anything. What you're trying to do is work efficiently going forward. So long as this is not a preamble to the only way this person can communicate.
Well, and now our next interaction has been, hey, what do you think about our leadership, our teamwork?
You see that, and to me, personally, that's exactly the opportunity I would take to find something in common that is wrong with leadership, but is also wrong with this person.
Sure.
I'm going to bond you fuckers together so that you understand that you're not holier than thou.
And like, right, she is part of leadership as well. Like, right, she's acting as she isn't part of this leadership part of our student government, where she absolutely is. It's very interesting to me.
I going back to the leadership thing, right? So I started realizing that thing with the email thing because stuff like this would happen. And as soon as somebody in one of the big businesses that I work with, as soon as it's up to somebody to follow up on something they didn't, they would try to privately contact. And I've seen it to where they go, everything's an email chain till this person becomes inefficient for, say, a week.
Sure.
Then a week goes by and that person replies privately to somebody else with the reason / justification / excuse of why something that they assured would be done is not done. Oftentimes, for a second and third time from the same individual. Patterns do emerge, people.
Totally.
Right? And so at that point is when you realize, like, oh, so those people flush themselves out because a person that has grown into their position will reply in the same line of communication with it. You know what? Got overwhelmed.
Yeah.
This is on me. I'm working on it now. I'll have an update by such and such.
And that's okay.
And when that happens, not once have I ever seen somebody go, well, yeah, man, you said it'd be done last week. No. What happens is the person who you cannot be prideful when you faltered.
Sure.
Even if it's not your problem or your fault. If it rained and you got a flat tire, you can't show up and be like, well, don't be mad at me, man. It fucking rained. I got flat tired. Right. That still doesn't matter. Right.
Yeah. At the end of the day,
you could hope for sympathy, right? Yeah. But how do you know what the other person went through to get there on time?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't know. So there, and that's part of it that like in my generation, that's how I basically have to like lure people into you will not be able to pretend. It's like, it goes like what I was saying a couple of weeks ago when I asked somebody for their name on the phone.
Sure.
Because I want to be even, right? But I also want to know who you are. Because if not, I am that person that's going to know who they talk to. And it's the same thing with this. It's like, let's keep each other honest just by being 100% upfront about the communication. If you can't do that, then you'll start realizing that the people that can't do that, usually not successful.
Well, right. And like, it's very hard to have this expectation of feeling like, oh yeah, let me talk to you about how our teamwork is kind of crappy right now. Because from my perception, it seems like there's a black pit coming from certain people and it doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of rude to bring up, right? Like it's kind of rude to bring that up. So
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
That's interesting. That's interesting. But it's honestly, I think it's pretty cool that so everybody in government, in student government, they put themselves in a position of interest to be in student government.
Yeah, sure.
So these situations that are arising as a result of your voluntary participation in student government, they're formative and they're good.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is good. There's a lot of people, believe me, dude, I've had these issues with 50-year-olds. I'm 40, with 60-year-olds. Yeah. You know?
Right.
I mean, like a lot of times, I've had people that get annoyed that I call everybody sir. Right? If I'm ever at the golf course, yes, sir, Carlos, we're nice to meet you, sir. To me, it's not because I'm kissing anybody's ass. I'm playing a mind game constantly. Sure. It's not really a game. I'm setting the tone for what I expect. Because I'm not saying I revere you. I'm saying don't get familiar with me till we know each other, motherfucker. Well, and I come to that with the utmost respect.
Well, and it's also right just being extremely conscious of the power of language, which I don't think a lot of people are conscious of.
100%. Well, that's why I was telling you that day about like that we're having that kind of like little back and forth about the word boomer. That I'm like, I understand that language changes, but I'm not okay with language changing because of ignorance. And although sometimes I have to relent to that, I'm not okay with it. And especially as somebody who learned English as a second language, because I go, oh, you cannot possibly be a fucking patriot if you don't know that the difference between there and there. That's not okay. And the fact that you've created a society where me making fun of you makes me a bully is even less okay. You should not be you should not think you're hot shit because you're illiterate. Like that's fucking. We have plenty of words that are funny and perfect that you haven't bothered to know.
That's true.
But you're already adapting new words.
Language is pretty incredible.
Like, what the fuck? There's plenty of ways. Like, for instance, one of the things I'm teaching my kids to not use insults.
Right.
Doesn't mean that you can insult somebody without using a derogatory word.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You can almost...
Listen,
right?
You can call somebody a pussy by telling them they're an effeminate coward. To me, that means the exact same fucking thing to a man, not to a woman. When a man's calling another man a pussy, you're an effeminate coward, sir.
But you can also lull people into word traps where they
that too. But I'm saying, like, if you wanted to not get in trouble, like, say you're in school, you're not allowed to say fuck you. Okay,
sure.
Why don't you go fornicate yourself? I appreciate that. You're probably gonna get in trouble anyway. But you're walking a good line. It's a line of intelligence. It's a subversive line of fucking with the system from what I consider to be a more intelligent place. Now you're thought-provoking. Because guess what? The administration's going to be like, well, look, you didn't use the proper word. I had to have the fucking conversation with my son not so long ago about what the word bitch means. And I was like, well, the word itself is not a bad word. He's like, what? And I'm like, no, a bitch is a female dog. That's a bitch. Right. He's like, well, how come it's such a bad word? I was like, well, because basically if you use it with a female human, you're calling her a female dog. And it becomes very bad. Rude. And if you use it with a man, you're basically saying that he's the most insulting thing you could call a woman. So there's layers to that word. But you have to learn those. And I'm not going to allow him to hear from some hillbilly Christian that the word bitch is not a proper word because that person never opened up a fucking dictionary and has only read the Bible. Like all that shit matters, dude.
This person that you made this hillbilly person.
So many? Are you kidding me?
They are.
Are you kidding me, bro? So many. So many. So fucking many. I mean... But I think all those are like, they're good skills that it's cool that these situations pop up because it's a skill set that I had to learn. Dude, I had to lose business because of knowing it or not knowing it. Sometimes I took the wrong business when I shouldn't have.
Totally. And
the signs were right there.
Right, but you didn't have any experience.
Or you didn't exactly. Right. Exactly. So at the end of it, I think it's a good thing, But it's
right. And from my perspective, it's almost very easy for you to kind of almost take a half a step back from everything and kind of just look at it and almost kind of laugh. Because like, right, at the end of the day, it's student government. So like, I'm taking it seriously and like important to me. But at the same time, I'm not trying to.
Well, yeah, but when you're bowling, you take that seriously too. Like it's you. That's the thing about it is that
I don't know what the point you're trying to make. That when you're in the
a lot of people are not balanced in their life, and therefore the reaction's gonna possibly be balanced.
Sure.
If all you do is be a lawyer, and every reaction is a lawyer in court, then you got to be a fucking drag. You got to have if you have a more balanced life, then your reactions, I think, are going to be more balanced due to the fact that you're constantly assessing different things in a different balance scale. Like if you're a fucking one of my son's doctors, I bet you that guy doesn't get us pissed golfing.
Sure.
You're cancer treating for kids, dude. And maybe he could be a scratch golfer.
Right.
By the way, probably. You know what I mean? This guy's fucking brilliant. So, but what I'm saying is that the scope of things, I think, is more balanced in that regard.
Sure.
And more people need to do that. And the more things that open up to that, because there's people that you're dealing with in student government, they can show up at a barbecue this weekend and be like, man, that doesn't mean fuck all. I was so worked up on Thursday about this shit. Also, hopefully.
I also think a big portion of it is that we are online and we are remote and we aren't able to, like, we haven't had
so much loss.
One in-person meeting as our new student government. Like, and that's absolutely, like, some of this stuff could have been handled with, like, hey, so what's going on with this? Oh, that's going on. Gotcha. Okay, no worries. Let me know when it's done. And, like, that is absolutely something that I'm very conscious of. But I feel like It's very hard to.
But see,
capture.
that's another good school. That's another good skill set. Because again, I deal in technology.
Sure.
I have friends and business acquaintances that I have never met. People that I've done business with for 5-10 years.
Sure.
That I've never met in person. Not once. You know, but as part of it is that you learn a rapport.
Sure.
And when your rapport has to be your email communication and telephone communication, all that, you fine tune your compass for tone, for tact, for all of that stuff, you know, for generic overall interactions.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you're not some people
Different
that I deal with.
you have to apply to each thing.
Hey man, some people I deal with are in Mississippi, and they're great people.
Sure.
You know, and they're very intelligent people, and they speak like some of the people from Mississippi that are not great people, and that are maybe what we consider to be in a different intellectual wavelength.
Sure.
Right? But the people that I know from Mississippi are aware of that and so hyper aware that when they're around you, they want to make sure they're like that. But the words are the same.
Sure.
And their demeanor is the same. And they could not be more welcoming.
Right.
So you have to fine tune and adjust all that stuff. You know, people from Florida, people from Minnesota, people from California, people from Arizona, people from fucking Italy. That is another company that I have to deal with all the time. You know, guys that don't answer the goddamn phone for 2 weeks, and then I call them and like, oh, we just came back from lunch and we had a couple of glasses of wine. Man, I've been waiting for you to pick up the phone. but at the end of the day, my goal is it to change the way that they live their lives, or to resolve whatever problem I need their assistance with. You know, and that's kind of, and it doesn't mean, and some things won't be worth it, believe me. But in other things, it is worth it to like sort of like see all that stuff out and kind of learn to navigate it. Because what we're seeing with this quarantine is going to become, a lot of companies are realizing they don't have to have people in the office. And that's going to be a good thing for the survival of those companies, which is good for the small business in America.
Yeah.
So the adjustment is just, it's a lot more vast, I think, for everyone than we're realizing that we're going through. Totally. You know,
absolutely, absolutely.
So, but it's good, man. It's good that you guys are facing shit like that.
Other my week news, right? So I'm in a history of Mexico class this semester. It's the first ever Mexican history class.
Is there a time period?
So we're starting with indigenous people, the Aztecs, Mayans, and then
so pre-settlement.
Yeah, pre-settlement.
Pre-Cortez,
So our first week was
Vespucci,
talking about the Aztecs specifically, some of the other
Toltecs, Aztecs.
a couple of the other indigenous people, and kind of some of the different forms, like the sedentary and kind of some of the early migration.
The Mexicas.
Well, aren't those are the Aztec and Mexica, aren't they?
Combination.
My understanding is Mexica is what the Aztecs called themselves.
The Mexicas were part of what formed the Aztecs.
Gosh, you're right, because the Aztecs are a multiple alliance.
Correct.
There's a tribe that will never be able to pronounce properly, but I learned about it.
Yeah. No, it's cool. It's cool. The Toltecs. Then you have the Mayans. Then the South.
Right.
You know.
So it's cool. It's interesting. It's the professor's first class teaching at Nevada State, my college. So
that course didn't exist?
I don't believe so.
Oh, that's cool.
So. I took a Latinos in the American West class over the summer, so it kind of covered a little bit of Mexican history, but this is specifically centered on Mexico, Mexico, which is really exciting. It's fun, right? I'm Mexican.
Yeah.
It's my people. It's
good shit. It's good shit.
So I'm excited to have that perspective because I've never really had a history of Mexico class. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely interested. The first week, our professor didn't have the credentials for Nevada State, so she couldn't log into Zoom. So we used an awful conferencing software that was really bad, and class lasted about 10 minutes because it was that bad. And then the second week, we were on Zoom, and Zoom has this feature, right, where you can name yourselves. And most people just name themselves Andrew, whatever their names is. Well, this young man, named himself El Beaner in our history of Mexico class.
That's funny.
Now, let me tell you, El Beaner has a dirty mustache, a Dodger hat on, just looking the part 110%.
So LA, Mexico.
Yes. He was looking the part, 110%.
Listen, I appreciate he's not rioting.
Sure, yeah, but come on, dude. Like,
listen, I believe making fun of those things is integral part of the Mexican culture.
I don't disagree with that. But in a class about history of Mexico, I feel like it's a little rude. And I also feel like the professor should have said something.
I disagree.
Is it not a derogatory term? My understanding in academia, right, that beaner would be considered a derogatory term that you would, if an employee called another employee a beaner, that employee could go to HR and the person calling the person a beaner would get in trouble.
Yeah, but what if the person's short and they call themselves Napoleon?
It's different if you're calling yourself that, though, right? It's not someone else.
Well, he's calling himself the beaner.
I guess, but still a derogatory term, right? It would be like a gay person naming themselves the
fairy.
No, the FAGGOT.
No, that's not the same. That's not the same.
It's
I would say a
derogatory.
wetback would be equivalent to that. A beaner is I don't think a beaner is that offensive.
Either way, the professor should have said something.
I disagree.
Well, that's fine.
In college, I 100% disagree with you.
I think it's a great opportunity to use as a learning moment.
No, I think it's a great opportunity to ignore it and be indifferent to it and act like you didn't even notice, because you shouldn't notice. It's not a matter of that person directing that word at anybody else.
I agree with that. But it's a great conversation about it.
And that person's chosen screen name may be the very reflection of the reason that they need to be in school.
I guess, but it would be a great opportunity to have that conversation.
Maybe in person. I bet you guys would have, though.
But right,
if you were in a classroom.
But hold on, time ago, if it was in person, he would have never had the opportunity to not name himself El Beaner.
No, because there will be no screen name.
There would be no screen name.
No, but I bet you that person's personality would have still popped up in some sort of discussion, and the problem would still be somewhat fleshed out.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, it's...
But still, it's an opportunity for discussion. And I guess maybe it's the first actual class. You don't want to necessarily put the time into it.
Yeah.
Just trying to get through the aspects.
And to be honest with you, I appreciate an actual American, I'm assuming this man's American because he's from LA.
I mean, he's wearing a Dodger hat. That doesn't mean he's from LA.
I don't like Mexican descent people claiming a whole lot of Mexicanness without knowledge. That bothers me. I'm not out there first of all, you know me. I'm not out there flying my Mexican flag all over the place, and I'm as proud of being Mexican as I'm proud of being an American. But I'm equally proud of being well-versed, or at least what I consider to be well-versed in the history of both cultures. Right. And I impart both positives of both cultures into my children, with an emphasis on American culture and integration and amalgamation to American society. But I think that more people could use that, if you're gonna take up a cause, be knowledgeable. Don't be an ignorant fucker and be out there claiming shit like Tito Ortiz was fucking the most ignorant mother. Have you ever seen his Twitter? This guy is such a dumb motherfucker, dude.
Tito Ortiz is basically a straw man.
Just in case anybody listens and knows Tito, don't give a fuck. I know he could squish me like a bug. The day after he murders me, he's still a dumbass. That's all. Dumb
Tito
motherfucker.
Ortiz is so dumb. Using him as an argument is basically using a straw man.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just keep it real, dude. Like, that guy.
God damn. Ignorant. He doesn't deserve the word ignorant.
It's incredible, right? Because I don't think it's the brain damage with him.
No.
He's just him. It's just him.
Yeah, no, he's got no fucking excuses. It's a choice with him.
Yes. Okay. What else?
That's interesting. Well, I have a little bit of good news that it's cool to share. I'll tell you about my week. My week was good.
I have one more thing I want to get to.
What you got?
And I don't know if we want to talk about it now. We can kind of tease this.
What's that?
But we got to reconcile something. I think we have to eat crow.
For what?
Egg yolk. I did some research.
And?
What's your opinion on egg yolk color?
I believe that the more orange yolk is better tasting. I believe it's healthier. I believe it to be more organic.
Okay, so
and I think the chicken that pooped that egg out was happier chicken.
Okay, so there's some things I'm willing to concede in your statement, but there's some things I just don't think are accurate.
So yes.
The better tasting, I think I agree with you, but I think I need to do a taste test. But I looked this up because I got to a whole conversation about this with my girlfriend. Okay. She was giving me shit about how I was very obsessed with looking for, like you said, a deeper, more orange, rich yolk. Because I also believed
it's thicker too.
Keyword believe that was healthier. And I don't think it is, dude. The only difference is
chicken's diet.
The chicken's diet. But not only that, for more orange yolk, they just put a little bit of turmeric in their food. That's what's causing
well, no. Okay. When you're deliberately trying to do it, yes. On a chicken, if you were to raise chickens in your house, the only way to do it, okay,
No. If you raise chickens and you look up pictures of chickens that are raised by people and their eggs, their yolks are relatively yellow.
Motherfucker, you didn't let me finish my statement.
Okay, go ahead.
If you were to motherfucking raise chickens in your house and had 2 coops and do a control study about the diet of the chickens, I guarantee you that the more balanced diet that you give the chicken, that includes different things, right? Like such as worms and fucking little scraps of food, and it'll make a difference. That's all. That'll make a difference, dude. Chickens will eat chicken if you feed them chicken.
That's true.
So to say that the diet of the person raising the chicken doesn't matter, it does matter. And by coincidence, it's not, that when it's organic, you tend to get more of that rich color. Now, the problem is that organic is a subjective term that is loosely regulated and highly politicized. Yeah. So not every organic chicken that you eat is an organic fucking chicken, and not every organic egg is actually organic, or it may just be skirting the guidelines to what organic actually means legally. You know, in the words of Charlie from Sunday in Philadelphia, under the eyes of the law.
What is the difference between a brown egg and a white egg?
Nothing.
Correct.
Absolutely nothing.
Correct.
Perspective. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, not perspective, it's just the color of the chicken.
No, the perspective of a person eating an egg. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the color of the chicken. Determines the color of the egg.
Yeah. So, but I am a fan of the Vital Farms eggs. That's
Are those the ones that give you the little card for the chicken?
Yes, that's the only egg I fucked with.
I mean, the Happy Egg. Happy Egg's pretty good.
Yeah.
They have it's also free range like the Vital Farms, but the eggs are mismatched.
Let me add another thing to your control study. If you ever carry this out, the best way to there's only one way to test it.
How?
A poached egg.
Why a poached egg?
Because it's the most undisturbed and
unadulterated. I've decided I need to learn how to make a poached egg.
Oh, you most certainly do.
Because I feel like if anybody wants an over easy egg, I can hook you up. I'm very proud of my over easy egg. I can flip it, no special.
Yeah,
I'm very proud of that. But poached egg, I feel like is another level of maturity that I need to hit.
A poached egg.
It's a sign of gentleman.
It's a king of eggs.
But it's a sign of a gentleman.
It's the king of eggs.
Only a gentleman can make a poached egg.
Oh, for sure.
Only a gentleman.
I had me 2 poached eggs on Saturday morning, like a gentleman. No, it's tremendous. You know what the thing is? I do think that is the best way to enjoy just the flavor of the egg. Now, let me preface this by saying,
yolk, go fuck yourself. Go yolk yourself.
No, see, here's the problem. It all depends because there's some days that I don't feel too meaty, and I'm like, how do I want to eat my eggs today? Now, I only eat eggs on the weekends for the most part. I don't have breakfast during the week. Gotcha. But on the weekend, if I've been a good boy, I'll give myself a niggeroo. And oftentimes, now, I love eggs. I put boiled eggs in my salads during the week.
I can't do boiled eggs.
I'll put a fucking poached egg on top of my vegetables next to my steak for dinner. I'll add egg to everything. I'll put
eggs on burgers?
I'll put an egg on a burger in a heartbeat.
The yolk? Oh.
And so as far as breakfast, I like me a fried egg. Right? Yeah. Sometimes I fry it in the bacon grease after I make the bacon.
That's a special egg.
Other times,
the bacon grease egg is like a special
thing. Other times I do it in butter.
That's how you do
it. And I fry it. Other times I like doing just a quick scramble with a little bit of cheese. When I scramble, I add a little bit of heavy cream, salt and pepper, and I scramble. Now the deal with scrambled eggs is people are lazy. No, people are lazy. you have to scramble the egg properly. If the egg has white after you're done,
that's bad.
you didn't scramble properly. You lazy.
Yeah.
You gotta whip that shit up and do not overcook.
Yeah,
do
no,
not
that's
overcook.
the pan has to be
Shut
low,
the
yeah.
heat off just before it stops being runny, and let it just finish up on that pan, baby. Because I tell you what, a scrambled egg in a breakfast burrito. What?
Time out.
What?
Okay, let me concede. A scrambled egg and burrito?
Tremendous. Now, let me hit you with this. Every once in a while, I go, don't feel quite scrambly, but I don't feel quite fried. You got me started on the eggs. Now we talk about eggs.
I love egg talk. I love egg talk. My
I don't
girlfriend's
feel
going to be so upset we dedicated this amount of time to eggs.
I don't.
But
I
if
don't.
you're listening, fuck you. We're
I don't.
talking about eggs.
He's bad. I don't say fuck you to people I never met before, but you are wrong about eggs if you disagree with what I'm saying. I'll tell you that right now.
You hear that?
So sometimes I don't quite want the scramby, but I ain't trying to get the fried because the fried can be a little heavy.
False.
And I go, well, how shall I eat this egg? Because I am a gentleman before anything else. So what I do.
No, after a lot of things.
So what I do is I'll get me a mushroom medley. I'm talking at least 3 or 4 different varieties of mushroom.
Name them.
Talking shiitake, talking gnocchi, I'm talking mitake, I'm talking oyster. No, I don't fuck with the portobello very much. Portobello is for junior high school.
How dare?
Oh yeah, there's so many good mushrooms up there, bro.
I mean,
you gotta go king oyster. You gotta go mitake, gnocchi, maitake. You gotta go shiitake. You gotta go king oyster, regular oyster. I fucks with the cordyceps mushroom every single day in my smoothie, and I take a supplement if I'm doing. I like a magic mushroom as well. I don't cook with it.
You could refer to them as boomers. Bringing it back.
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible.
They call them boomers.
But that's one of the few things they had, right? It's the shrooms. So anyway, I chopped this bitches up, a little bit of shallot, and I saute.
Okay. Shallot? King.
Oh, it's king. It's king.
It's so it's so good.
It's king. For those of you that are not initiated to cooking, a shallot is basically a tiny onion that fuck 1 garlic clove.
Yes,
and then they came together. And then you so I mix in the shallot with it and I saute that baby, you know. I get a nice clarified butter on that pan and I saute it, get out of the heat once it's got the crust. Once it's got the crust, get out of the heat. Then I clean my pan real good, put a little more clarified butter, and I beat this egg to perfection.
You beat that?
I beat it up perfection. And I put the egg in there, and it's a nice round pan. Right now, I only have 2 eggs because that's all you need.
Right. Agreed.
The pan is large. The egg, it cooks very quickly. I go like this, and then have a lid for like a pot.
Cover it. Yeah.
No coverings.
Oh, you're making an omelet.
You're making an omelet. So what you do is you slide the egg onto the lid, then you flip your pan and you go 1, 2, 3, boom, and you flip that bitch, and it's perfect. Now you shut the heat off because you don't want to cook it no more. Now you take your cheese, you put a layer of cheese, you put your mushrooms on there, put another layer of cheese, and then you roll that like a burrito.
Right.
Oh, side of toast there.
The heat for the perfection of egg cooking is so vital.
Very important.
Over easy.
Very important.
You flip it, you turn that shit off, and it's done.
Well, I mean, it's vital for all cooking. For all cooking, man. It's tremendous. It's tremendous. You know.
I think we're gonna call this episode Egg Talk.
Just and you know this is a shameless plug for the 2 people that are listening, but you should go to @Alberto Eats on Instagram. So I put my money where my mouth is.
One of those people that are listening runs that account, sir. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, yeah, she does. But, you know, she learned.
She already knows the account. Oh, I guess we're playing for the other person.
Yeah. And still, you know, like anyway, you want to learn some shit about cooking? You want to know that what I say is the way it is? You can smell what I'm cooking like The Rock. And that fucking account. Yes.
Alberto Eats. @Alberto Eats.
Oh shit! Don't go to you creeps. Go to Alberto Eats. you gotta edit the other one out.
You want me to beep it out every time?
Oh yeah. That's my family. I don't know.
As if they couldn't find it from Wolfchild 1980.
They probably could. They could. It's true. It's true. But anyway, yeah. So the
So, yeah, if
poached
you're one
egg,
of the 5
the
people
poached
listening,
egg.
don't dox us.
I would say this: the poached egg is
Sign of
definitely
gentlemanship.
the king of eggs.
Yeah.
I mix it with everything, and everything you can do with a fried egg, you
do
can
with
make
a poached.
slightly
That's true.
healthier
I believe that.
with a poached egg.
Not only healthier, classier.
It does look beautiful. When you get a
Classy.
nice poach,
It's
when
very
you get
classy.
a nice poach and it's got that velvet sheen on it,
You know,
and then you cut into it, it's like, oh, and it's tremendous.
So stupid.
That's tremendous. Yeah, I have poached.
poached
So,
eggs
yeah,
are
man.
very important.
Well, that's good.
I'm
Good.
glad we got this egg talk out of the way. I wrote it down. It was very
It was very
to me.
important. Very important. So, my week's mundane.
Well, I'm
Good.
glad I brought the heat then.
It's good. It's good. It's good. But more than that, my son Michael officially is on maintenance therapy starting Friday. His numbers look great. All of his medication is going to be here at the
That's
house.
fantastic.
He takes 3 Tyne pills a day right now. First day was dicey. By today, he's a pro.
Right.
So
As that happens.
yeah, man. Yeah. So
That's
we're super excited and
Praise
super grateful, you know? yeah,
all the
yeah,
gods.
yeah. Yeah, it's
To
been
all
a beast.
gods.
It's been a beast, but it looks like so this is how to frame it into perspective. Diagnosis, if this is the first time you listen to us, I've talked about it before, but diagnosis was January 1st. So we started the beginning of the year with this B cell
like
B cell
B-cell.
acute lymphoblastic leukemia.
B-cell.
It's the acronym is BALL. And so
Horrible acronym.
this started at the beginning of the year, and he's now been in remission for a couple of months, and he's in what they call maintenance therapy, which means it's basically less invasive. The way the doctor said it was, if it wasn't because of the virus, Michael would be going back to school, back to swim lessons, back to
Right.
hanging
He's
out with
back.
other kids.
He's back,
It
baby.
wouldn't be anything else. Now, because of the virus, we have to be extra apprehensive
course.
and careful, and that is what it is. But yeah, we're super grateful, and so that was basically you know, I
Well, I mean, it's
I did lose a man at work. I lost a man.
Did that officially happen?
Yeah, man.
But the evictions got post.
Yeah, but my man had already made a choice,
Right.
and there's other mitigating factors he's
Sure, of
dealing with.
course.
But he's a good friend, and he's been a very good co-worker/employee. I hate using that word, but he's been a good
coworker.
team member.
Yeah,
Team member.
teammate.
Yes, and he's staying on board with our company
Remotely.
as a remote support, which helps him and helps me. So.
But it's a bummer to lose his energy in the office.
It is. But also we're a small business, and although our survival is not in jeopardy, this is helpful because we're saving some money in the overhead.
Of course.
And again,
That's the reality
until-
of the situation.
Yes, and just because I'm not fucking wearing a goddamn smoking jacket and a monocle, this could be interpreted as callous or
Right.
horrible. But that's what I was saying a couple of weeks ago with the protesters, is that sometimes there's a lot of people that don't keep in mind that I've worked very hard to keep very small businesses out of in play, you know. And so to us, small businesses, some things like this are a big deal. But anyway, easy week, good week. Yeah, the other thing that happened for me, which is big news for me.
Is this what you had me write down or no?
No, I'll get into that. So, as you can see, we're in my gym. This is my home gym, which is in my small
Give him the gun.
garage.
Give him the gun, Carlos. We're in the gym. Give him the guns.
I'm just trying to keep it together. That's all. It's about to be together.
And again, this is our tease.
KIT.
If you are just listening to the podcast, go to the YouTube. Children of the Beast podcast.
That's right. This is
Check
true.
this out.
This is true.
Carlos is wearing an incredible Cassius Clay.
Yeah.
For the uninitiated, that's Muhammad Ali, the greatest. Great shirt.
And by the way, if you're a social justice warrior and you don't know who Cassius Clay was / Muhammad Ali,
Go
then
fuck yourself.
That's right.
Right?
Your Black
Ignorant
Lives.
of
If you-
history.
Yes.
That'd be like saying you don't know MLK or Malcolm X.
And Black Lives Matter would not be approved by Ali if he was of an opinion. But anyway, so I've been after a rower, right? Because I got most of my cardio equipment.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I've been after a rower. And so these rowers that you see at every CrossFit gym, they're called Concept 2. and they're from a company called Concept 2 Incorporated. They have a different.
What was Concept 1?
Don't know. Maybe the bankrupted one.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They're like, God, the joke's on you. That company no longer exists.
Concept 2.
I never heard of Concept 1. Don't know no Concept 1. You know what I mean? But so this fucking rower, it retails for $900 from the company itself, right?
That doesn't make. I mean, that's a lot of money, but that's not surprising.
Right. So and it's like a very good rower. They last forever, very little maintenance and all this shit. So $900 plus taxes plus shipping. Let's say that you get a home for like $1,150, right? Yeah. So Corona hits, company sells out.
Well, because everybody's trying to get
their fitness on a home, or they're all trying to pretend like this is now the time when they're going to do it. They've never done it before.
They got time now, Carlos.
But now they're gonna do it.
They got time.
So
they got the time.
So the company gets behind, and in order to buy one of the rowers from the company for $900 plus access plus shipping,
you have to get a lottery.
No, it's not a lottery. It's just a waiting list. Oh, so you get into an email waiting list, and they give you the thing. Now I just got an update for it. I got on the list 2 weeks ago. My expected ordering date is October 27th.
That is a month and a half. No, 2 months at this point.
Right. And then that's only when I ordered. Then there's still another 5 to 6 week lead time to get it. Yes, that's just the order. Now, if you get on Amazon or eBay, you'll find them anywhere from $1,600 to $2,500.
Excuse me, what?
Yes. So you're rich, dude. You want it right now. You don't want to deal with the waits or whatever. That's how long they're doing this shit for, right? So needless to say, I'm not going to pay that.
Right.
But ever since then, I was like, okay, well, I know I want it. I know it's I run a lot, and every once in a while you need another way to the cardio, and that's always been my other go-to.
That's not as intensive.
It's a very good, and it's a very good exercise anyway. Right. Like if you're having if you just want to move for 10 minutes to feel a little better, like right now. If you rode for 15 minutes, you feel fucking better, right? Because you're sore as shit.
Right.
So anyway, I've been looking on Craigslist and I've been looking on Marketplace. And I got to say, I give you millennials a lot of bullshit. And I must eat some crow. Because I found one thing you motherfuckers do fucking
phenomenally.
Compared to my generation, you guys, we are fucking like goddamn Neanderthals, and you guys are fucking modern day man. All right, and that is online private sales.
Yeah,
online private sales.
Totally.
When I was growing up, the closest thing you had 20 years ago was Craigslist, which was already getting creepy, right? And the thing about it is that on Craigslist, right, which was already after the classifieds in the newspaper and yard sales, which is just driving around,
right,
and seeing if you found your shit. There's several things. The first one, in my day, cash only.
Right.
Cash only. None of this Venmo, no PayPal, no Apple Pay, no Square, no cash only. Number two, I know who I'm dealing with.
Sure.
Because even if I find something on Craigslist, I can always find the cross posting on OfferUp or on Marketplace or whatever else.
Because if you're smart and you're doing it well, you're posting on multiple listings so that you can get as much.
Exactly. And because of that, people are not bullshitting. Back in my day, you'd make a deal, you'd show up, you'd get there, and the guy looks like security for the Hells Angels and meth, and he's like, well, I changed my mind. Right. What, you don't want this deal no more? And you either go running into your car because you don't have enough money, or you get terrified into paying them more money on the spot. And then you take the item home and it doesn't fucking work.
Whatever,
or you got somehow there was a by the way, in the words of the great Joey Diaz, there's a by the way. And no, not with this shit, man. It was perfect. So anyway, I've been looking every day, right? Like just like part of my Monday, I get to the office, drink my coffee, and I'm like, let's see if there's some shit. I've seen a couple here and there, nothing enough for me to like want to pull the trigger, you know? A couple of weeks ago, I paid off some stuff and I put away like $850 for it. No, not $800 for it in cash, which I was like, okay, well, at the worst, I'll order it if I need to, blah, blah, blah. So this week, I look on Monday morning, first thing in the morning, get to the office, and I had a great workout, fucking drinking my coffee. I'm getting ready to fucking kill this motherfucking day. It's the first day that my guy was gone. Right, that left to move, and so I'm like, okay, I'm trying to have a good positive first day without this motherfucker, and so I see the listing, and he's got a list on there for $900, and it's over in San Rose by my dispensary, San Rose and Eastern. And I'm like, oh, this is perfect. So I hit the guy up, and I'm like, hey, just interested in your thing. I'm like, I got a couple questions. Is it in good condition?
Right.
How old is it? And do you take Venmo or PayPal?
Sure.
The guy's like, well, it's a couple years old. It's been in my garage, not very used at all. And
in service, I'm sure.
Right. He's like, yes, I'll take Venmo and PayPal. I'm like, okay. And so I'm like, all right. So he's got it. This is 8 o'clock in the morning. He just listed it 2 hours ago. So I'm like, I'll give you $800 cash right now, and I'll be there in an hour to pick up. The guy hits me back. He's like, I just listed it this morning. Can you do $850? I was like, sold. But this is where it took me, right? I go, okay, well, I can be there in an hour, right? And he's like, all right, so that works for me. And he's like, or I can meet you. I'm like, well, I have a truck. So if, I could just pick it up from you. It's no big deal, blah, blah. Yeah. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, all right, so do you want, I said, I have cash, Venmo or PayPal. He goes like, could you just Venmo me? I never in my entire life have somebody rather take anything other than cash.
Sure.
Right. But then there's the other part of it. It's like, with you guys, the way they do it, you have an automatic receipt. Yeah. Back in my day, it's like, where do you get that speaker from? Oh man, there was this creepy guy outside the liquor store, and he got into hard times, and it was so.
You have a history of what happened.
Yes, dude. Like, and I got there, and there was no sketchiness because everybody knows who the other person is. Right. So there's no, you know what I mean? It's so much easier because I bought a bunch of my gym equipment from like Marketplace and stuff like that, and it's just so much fucking easier. Aside from the fact that sometimes I'm not a rich dude, I credit card shit. And then I pay it off the next month or whatever, And so when you have Venmo and Apple Pay and all the other shit that you guys use, and the funniest thing is that I don't use Venmo very often. And then when I do it, then I see all my other contacts activity or whatever. And I'm like, this motherfuckers are living in the greatest time ever.
It's incredible, right? I mean, honestly.
Because it's also great for friendships. Back in my days, hey man, can you cover me? Motherfucker, it's $350. Exactly. You have no excuses anymore.
You don't even know, but there's so many memes of friendship in 2020 is just Venmoing the same $30 back and forth.
That's hilarious and true.
And true. You just keep it in your account.
Yeah. That's funny. Back and forth. Well, that's what Jamie was saying. She's like, well, yeah, but isn't that a pain in the ass to get it out? And I was like, I think that's simple. Well, and what I was telling you is that's the thing is that I don't think they need to. This guy and his girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever were probably like, well, I mean, we have the $850 on the Venmo. You're still going out to eat with friends. Yeah, you're still doing other Venmo shit, and even parents. I've seen other parents that we're friends with. They'll be they're sending their kids in college new tennis racket. Or whatever it is, you know what I mean? It's funny, dude. It's funny. But anyway, so tip of the hat to you people. Yeah.
No, it's fine because when I was building my computer so that we could do all the editing for all this, right? The majority of the stuff I bought was online used because it's just kind of easier. Yeah. If you know what you're looking for and you're kind of intelligent about it, exactly what you said, you're able to communicate with someone.
Even you. I had to buy a laptop today for my wife because her laptop took a shit. And so we started looking. And of course, always started well, let's spend the least amount of money and you end up at the double of that amount because if you're going to spend the money, $1,000.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's it's got a terabyte hard drive for what she needs. Right. Terabyte, Windows Pro. I got her a license for Office. I got her updated Bluetooth and Wi-Fi card. Intel, an i7 processor. Okay. Yeah, it's fucking, it's gonna, for what she needs, it's gonna be a rocket. Yeah. But we're looking, and I was looking at Dell, and then I looked at Samsung, and some of them have Samsung's website's a fucking nightmare because they have the different operating systems because they have the Chromebooks and shit. And it's dude, listen, I love that there's options for you people that are not in business. If you live in an adult life where business matters, give me a Windows computer and get the fuck out of my face. Keep your shit.
I feel in that regard, almost Acer and Asus are kind of almost the best laptop brands to look at.
Well, I didn't even know Acer was back. Because Acer was bro, in the 90s.
Acer's been back for years.
Like in the late 80s, early 90s, Acer was the shit. And then it kind of tapered off. For instance, one thing I found out, Sony don't make laptops no more.
They don't.
I used to love the Sony Vios.
Bro, give me some.
You know what I'm saying? Those were
the shit. Are the shit. They were the shit forever.
Well, and there's a huge aftermarket.
I
of
believe
the
that.
discontinued
I believe
products.
that. The Vio's
but
great.
I can't fuck with it. But anyway,
Right,
the point I was trying to make is that we ended up buying it from HP. I was like, why am I fucking around? Like, I was everywhere. We had narrowed it down to the HP was what we wanted, because once you start getting into the different deals, it's like, oh, that's why this one's a good deal, because it's a fucking AMD processor. Or what if
Time out, though. AMD's good now.
I know.
AMD's good, though.
But it's not Intel.
But for what your wife needs, AMD's good now.
Yeah, but...
That's your bias right there. That's
100%, 100%.
That's fine.
But my bias also comes from, even though the falterings of AMD that I've seen have never been, they're not very prevalent in the home usage of that device.
Sure.
But because I've seen it in the professional usage of those devices, I can't fuck with it.
Well,
because that's what she was saying. She's like, well, why do I need a Windows Professional? I was like, because it's $70 more and there's zero limitations. There's a lot of shit that does good shit that will not work in a home edition of Windows. That's just the way the world works. And you don't find that out till you already got this beautiful brand new computer and nobody told you that the one thing you really wanted, because it won't be the whole thing.
Sure.
It'll be one fucking program that needs a specific permission or a specific group setting that changes when you're using a home edition to when you're using a fucking professional edition.
Well, and you realize you can buy those keys for a lot cheaper. Well, I guess I don't know if that's necessarily true when you're buying a laptop because they usually come pre-installed.
Well, and that's the thing is that even though you can do it yourself, the batting ratio for problems with Windows, unless you're building from scratch, conversions rarely ever work.
Interesting.
Every time I've seen a device come with a version of Windows and you try to upgrade it to a different version or reinstall it, something's always fucked. Sure. There's so many directories that get accessed and written upon that you're never gonna unwrite it. So, but anyway,
just wipe it though,
because you would think it wipes it.
No, but it does.
No, it doesn't. I've been there when we look at specific directories that should no longer exist after wiping something and this shit shows up. Programmers are sneaky, dude. They don't want you to wipe. First of all, a programmer doesn't make their shit so you can wipe it off your hard drive. Let's just start there.
But there's specific programs you can use to actually find directories.
There are. I recommend you take your time trying.
Okay.
Because
I don't have to.
No. I've done it. I've seen it done. And I've seen people that thought they were saving money doing it and then ended up losing all that labor to their IT department for their IT department to be like, well, I don't know what to tell you. And Windows doesn't know. It's been 2 weeks. Congratulations, director. Good call because we're saving the money on 19 stations. Which you get special pricing from whatever company you have a contract on anyway. But anyway, it was something just fucking order direct coming to the crib. So, yeah, man, uneventful. Good week though. And now I'm waiting on my sauna. Gets here September the 14th.
That's exciting.
Ooh,
it's so sweaty.
Sweaty. Some could say the sweatiest. Yeah.
Do we have a guest segment this week?
No, we don't have a guest segment today. We gotta skip it this week.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they've been busy.
Okay.
It's been. We skipped the bike riding today because he was sore. He had a good week though.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. The second week of school was very good. I give it up to teachers. I think teachers do a great job. So far, I would put all of the negative things that I've heard about teachers and shitty parents. And I don't doubt. Yeah, sure, there are some bad teachers out there. I'm sure there are.
There absolutely are.
And you know what I think brings a bad teacher out of the okay teacher? A shit parent.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think a shit parent will bring the bad teacher out of a good teacher in a heartbeat.
So if you have 30 kids in your class, that means you're dealing with 60 parents a year. If 30 of those parents are good.
Yep.
Well, here, let's take a break.
Let's do it.
And we are back with El Niños de la Bestia.
Los Niños de la Bestia.
Whatever. Whatever. How do you say whatever in Spanish?
Not really a word for whatever.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
That's a great word.
We're more like, we go right to I don't give a fuck. It's more like, a la verga.
All right, well,
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah, you don't really. So the Wi-Fi sucks right now.
The Wi-Fi sucks.
Yeah.
In your house.
So
We are
you
talking
got
about
into Married at First Sight.
Married at First Sight, season 9. I am on episode 3. It is on Netflix. Please don't spoil it for me.
Tremendous show.
It's a fantastic show.
It's a fantastic show.
It's a fantastic show, and I'm glad we're talking about it because I got a lot of thoughts and opinions, right? So there's this one couple who's super Christian, Greg and Deanna. They love their Jesus. There's this other couple with a professional basketball player. There's like a European professional basketball player, which means you never gave up at your dreams, sir.
Yes.
You never faced reality.
You know, I'm sure it's easier to get away with saying that you're a professional at something such as basketball or football in a country that's not America. But if you're in America, in an American show, and you say I'm a professional basketball player, we expecting the NBA. We ain't expecting your ass to be playing in Croatia, in Spain, in Mexico. Like,
and right, what other sport can you get away with that isn't basketball?
Soccer.
But in soccer, it's even better.
It's more legit. That's true.
You'd rather be international.
Yeah, that is true. In soccer, you're kind of more embarrassed if you are a professional in the United States. It's kind of a reverse thing.
Unless you're old and you're retiring.
Even if you is
old. You can make a bunch of money.
Okay, so if you're an American.
Sure, yeah.
And you're a professional. If you're an American and you're a professional soccer player in America, you're not really a professional soccer. You're a soccer player that's trying his best.
You're like B-League, JV.
Yeah, well, not even. I mean, so would you think the Angolan golf team is a B-League team?
The what?
Angola, the country. Their best golfer. Know his or her name.
Collegiate?
Well, that's what
golfer?
I'm saying. Like high school, probably. First of all, how many golf courses are in Angola?
2?
Maybe.
Let's look it up.
They got lions in and shit. It's like, oh, you in the lion trap. There's a sand trap, but there's a lion there. But either way, this man is, he is very tall. He does look like a basketball star, right? And I like the matchup at first. She looks like Minnie Driver a little bit.
Oh, his short 5'2".
Yeah. She is shorty. And at first with them, see,
they have a lot of chemistry.
I'm well versed in this show. And the matchmakers of the show, which you'll be seeing in upcoming episodes. So there's 2 main matchmakers, right? Psychologist who does counseling for couples.
She's the one that looks like Martha Stewart?
Yes, Dr. Pepper.
I call her Martha Stewart.
My favorite doctor name ever, Dr. Pepper. Her name is Pepper Schwartz, and they call her Doctor. I call her Dr. Pepper. And there's another guy who's this pastor, Pastor Cal.
Okay.
He's a bald pastor that has glasses.
He's got style.
Man. He's the shit.
I love
Pastor. Let me just tell you.
There have been multiple episodes.
I fuss with Pastor Cal.
There have been multiple episodes where I'm like, damn, he looks good. Like, well dressed.
Not only that, but he'll call motherfuckers out too.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, dude. Like he'll be like, I feel like you're not being genuine right now. Like, especially to the men. He holds the man to a higher standard. I like that. Like I said, listen.
Calls them on their shit. Men ain't shit.
I don't say this a lot. I fucks with Pastor Cal, dude. He eats fucking money. But
maybe the only pastor you fuss with.
Yeah, because the other one's a bishop, and that's the Bishop Magic Don Juan. Who's a pimp.
Continue, please continue. Let's move past this. Let's move past it.
So anyway, I like that couple because at first they seem congenial. And I'm pretty sure, don't quote me, I'm pretty sure they bone right away.
She's super horny for
Which is rare. Because a lot of the times, even though they're all trying to be the best sport for the game and everything, like most of the women are like decent ladies, and they're like, man, I just don't fuck guys I just met. Now,
so I will say none of them fucked on the marriage night.
No. But these guys didn't like the first. What I consider to be a reasonable amount of time to keep a man engaged.
I don't discount that because, like I said, she's horny for him. She's horny for him, which I mean, good for her. Get your thing, get that dick, girl.
Good for you. Good for you. Plus, you got to figure it's got to be gut wrenching for all those people. They go into this not knowing what's going to happen, what's not going to happen, and then you show up at the altar. At least if you're like, oh, cool, I fucks with that. Hey, that's half the battle. You know what I mean? Like that's half the battles when it fucks with each other.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like you got it. So, all right, go to your next couple.
So bald penguin man that looks like a falcon.
Oh my god, terrible guy. Yeah,
Redhead who almost looks like not as attractive Christina Hendricks. Is that a good, accurate description of her?
100%, 100%.
Not attractive, but right.
Yeah. This
Christina
guy
Hendricks is an actress. She isn't. She's a normal lady.
That guy right there.
Yeah. Baldy.
Fucking.
He's weird.
Great couple.
You think? He's so bizarre, and so is she, I guess.
That girl, she's a nightmare, and she's a drunk. She cannot handle her booze.
Glug.
She's one of those, I'm sassy, now I'm drunk and sassy. She's terrible.
And he's not going to like that.
No, he's not.
Because he's very...
No, he's not. And there's going to be some circumstances that are going to get thrown your way.
I love this. Can't wait. So I brought this up at the beginning, but I feel like we glossed over, but Deanna and Greg, the two little Christian ones... Greg looks like a teenager, a small boy in man's body. Here, let me pull up a picture. No, not those. No, you're wrong season, dog.
Well, that's season 10.
These two. He looks like a little boy in man's body.
Good couple, though.
Super church going.
That's a good match.
That's the vibe I get.
It's a good match.
They're so into God.
It's a good match. No, and they have the same modesty of character.
Okay.
They're nice. They're good. And
I do
that's
get like very wholesome vibes from them, which is
very
nice.
wholesome. Very wholesome. She's super wholesome. He's a little mature, but they're cool. I like them. They're one of the good couples, and that's the thing that's brilliant about the show. I've been watching this show for a long time. I love me some garbage television, right? And this show, the unspoken heroes of all good reality TV. And this is what we're getting into this a little bit earlier. I don't consider the MTV shit reality because all those people come from the tanning salon to the gym to the casting agency. Desperate. They're thirsty. Yeah. And the worst thing about it is that you can assume they're stupid. And I'm going to tell you why. There's only one group of people that went into reality television at MTV and were rich like from the jump. Right? The Jersey Shore people. They all made a lot of money. Now, no one from the real world, all 39 seasons of it, has ever made money. That's why they keep coming back to the challenges, because they got them like crack addicts.
That's a good show.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that it's not. But it's not like other shows where you're gonna get rich. That's all. They're not Kardashians. You know, and so when people are desperate to get a show on MTV, it's like no one's gonna know who you are. Dude. This isn't like a vehicle. It attracts a certain kind of bro-ham douchebag chicken head. Now, these deep cable shows, the TLC, the Lifetime, it's a different thing. You know why? Because what's predatory in those shows is not the talent, it's the casting. And that's who I want to praise. Casting people for all shows of reality. I praise you. You are the sons and daughters. Good. You're the sons and daughters of the Sally Jesse Raphael production team, of the motherfucking Jerry Springer show. You guys, your parents did good work. Your parents did good work. But the best work your parents did is have you, little motherfucking beast. Because you out finding these people.
Well, we've talked about the last couple.
Go.
Well, no, what are you going to say?
No, hit me, because I'm going to take you into deep waters, man.
Well, the last couple, I feel like, are probably the defining couple of the season. And it's the 27-year-old virgin and her man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember her. She's very nice, and I like that. I like that couple, too.
Oh, so it's not as exciting as I...
No, it is, because the redhead's going to give you plenty.
Okay.
The redhead's going to give you plenty. And what's exciting is that now you can go backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
There's some great people on this. There's motherfuckers that lie about their employment, their fucking income.
Well, the basketball player, his parents were not at the wedding. And he ends
up being pretty full of shit.
That makes so much sense, okay? Because, his whole story is that his parents got divorced 2 years ago, and because of that, he doesn't want to bring any of that negative energy. I'm sorry, dog. You sound like a giant Norm's baby.
He ends up being full of shit.
Is he not even a basketball player?
No, yeah, he is. But he's
spoil it for me.
But it's pretty full of shit. No, and the stars of that couple are the redhead and the bald guy.
Really?
Just know that.
He seems awful.
He's a douchebag. He thinks he's the shit. Look at me. Oh, dude. On season 10, there's a dude who's clearly gay. Oh, dude, you gotta get into it. You gotta get into the show. You gotta binge. You gotta go backwards and then forwards. And then this all leads me. So I've been saying for years, I have a list in my head that's like my wish list, right? That's called My Project Mayhem. It's an homage, obviously, to Fight Club, the movie. I don't know how well versed your generation's in Fight Club.
I've never seen Fight Club.
Really? Oh, man. Okay.
Isn't that Brad Pitt movie?
And Edward Norton, yeah. It's an amazing, it's a very, very good movie.
I don't watch movies with Brad Pitt.
Well, that's very ignorant.
Name a good Brad Pitt movie. That's not
Fight Club, any of the Ocean's 11's movies, motherfucking Moneyball is a good movie. I don't even like baseball.
No, baseball I definitely won't care.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I've seen that.
You don't fuck with Tarantino?
I do, but I haven't seen that one.
You're not really a movie person outside of the fiction. That's what the problem is.
Aren't all those movies you just said fiction?
No, outside of science. Science fiction.
I'm just not really a movie person in general. Even other sci-fi movies, I don't care about.
So you just care about Star Wars.
I just don't really care about movies in general.
Yeah. See, I like
They're
movies.
just too long for me to give a fuck about.
I don't know. I do. I like good. What it is to me is outside of dance, I like all art. Dance, I
mean, like, right, like I've seen movies where I've been like, holy shit, this is an incredible piece of cinema for sure. But
no,
it doesn't inspire me to go out and like actively seek more of those out, which I'm sure I could if I wanted to, right? There's an incredible list of.
See, for me it does. For me it does. But just like that, that's why to me, like the garbage reality TV has such a space because it's like as much like I've seen The Godfather and then I see some shit on TV that is just as riveting, but so anyway, in a different way. But let me hit you with this. Okay, so I was telling you, I love Married at First Sight, right? Now there's also there's other incarnations of it, but on TLC, there's a motherfucker called 90 Day Fiance.
Okay.
The premise of this is that an American person met through happenstance a person in a different country. There's a way for them to come into this country. It's called a K-9 visa, I think, which means
isn't Trump trying to get rid of these?
No, he's trying to get rid of other shit. Yeah, if Trump got rid of this, Melania would never be here. And all his friends could not import bitches here to marry. So, no.
He's already got her, so
no, but there's other people.
Can we talk about the losers and suckers story? Have you heard about this, the military thing? Apparently, according to The Atlantic, which is owned by, obviously, a ginormous Joe Biden donor, which is public record that you can look up. I'm not making this up. According to anonymous sources, of course, Donald Trump, in some French trip to France a year ago now at this point, refused to visit a World War I cemetery because the soldiers, quote, losers and suckers. Now, obviously, this is something that you could imagine Donald Trump saying very easily as someone that did draft the Dodge notoriously, or dodged the draft notoriously. However, a month before the election, 2 months before the election, anonymous sources, I don't know, seems fishy.
It's all fishy.
It's all fishy, right?
It's all fishy. But also, I don't care.
Also, exactly. Well,
I mean, I have controversial views on military service within the country. I have controversial views on military recruitment. I have controversial views on people that are regarded as war heroes like McCain. I don't think McCain, to me.
Wait, didn't he get shot down though?
No, not only that. It goes further than that. McCain comes from a long line of high-ranking military members. His grandfather and his father were both not just in the military, high-ranking. I don't know if generals or colonels or whatever, but high-ranking. Okay. Then he was in the bottom 5 graduates in his class. He was in there at West Point. He got in trouble at West Point. The only reason he didn't get out of West Point is because of who his parents were. In training at West Point, he downed 2 or 3 planes.
So I looked into this because you brought this up last week, right? He downed one train that's been attributed to him, and the other ones have been attributed to engine failure.
He was in it. Right. There are people that go entire careers. And then when he...
hold on, time out though. Engine failure is engine failure.
Okay, when he got captured?
He got shot down. He was shot down. No, I mean, that's the official report by the military.
I know that, but the official report has officials involved in reporting it.
I'm saying the official report is that he was shot down, and not only that, when he was held prisoner, he had a first in, first out mentality and refused to be released until people who had already
Yes. But also, one could argue he didn't have the option of being released because of his lineage.
Perhaps.
Not perhaps. I consider it to be a
story.
What I'm saying is that this was not Rambo. This was a fucking inept, average, mediocre motherfucker. That's my only point.
Didn't he fly on multiple successful missions though?
So did monkeys that went to the space station.
I mean, but no, it's a little bit different though, right?
I'm just saying it's not. I'm just saying that it's not quite the war hero story that one would write about.
But he was shot down. What do you mean? He was shot down over Vietnam and was held prisoner for multiple months.
I don't know. I don't know if any part of getting shut down could be attributed to the piloting of the aircraft because I'm not.
You wouldn't know. And you wouldn't. Yeah,
I wouldn't know.
So you'd have to.
But I know precedent.
So you would have to take the report.
No, absolutely. Oh, really? So if they give you a report of Fort Hood right now about what's happening to the fucking staff there, you'd take that on their word? Because I wouldn't.
I mean, what other word do we have to take it upon? Our own
the
eyes.
fact that people keep upping up dead in fields down the street. There's a good explanation that suffices your curiosity.
What's going on Fort Hood? I have
no idea
what? I have no idea.
Oh my. Okay, so we'll talk. Look into it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You're gonna have a lot of feelings. Yes.
I'm excited.
You're going to look into it. But anyway, let's go back to the lighter side of reality television, please. So.
Your Wi-Fi's so bad.
As you know why it is? Because we went inside and we went out. And because it's the mesh thing, it picks up one router and it doesn't switch to the satellite automatically sometimes. But anyway, so if you go away from 90 Day Fiance, if you go away from Married at First Sight, going to 90 Day Fiance, it gets worse. Because as a foreigner, right, in this country, so if you're TLC, they finance the show.
Sure.
They produce it, right? So you go and find a girl in Brazil, right? The girl in Brazil, of course, ends up being on TV, right? They pay her something. But as a foreigner, they can pay you less.
Gotcha.
As a foreigner, you get taxed higher, right?
Interesting.
But it's still money. You're still getting dollars, right? Now, the American person can only afford to send the foreigner money because TLC is paying them here. And I'm telling you, when you see the show, it's a pittance what they're paying. It's so predatory, dude. Yes. And then when you see the caliber of the people that are trying to move the other person here, bro, oh my God. These are not fucking high achieving Americans. At first, when the show started, it was a couple of regular dudes. But you can tell, first of all, when a rich guy wants to get a girl from Brazil instead of a girl from here, there's plenty of gold diggers here, but they got higher taste and they got more information. So what's better than that? Go get you a Brazilian one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She's not going to, you know how long it's going to take an immigrant like that to get to the point that she's demanding a Gucci purse? While if you pick her up in Hollywood,
right?
That's a first date.
That's day one.
Exactly. The other girl's going to take 10 years to be like, you know what? We can afford this shit. Fuck you. I put them on my credit card.
Well, I'm like, right, if you're a smart young person and you're able to figure out online business and you can speak Spanish, it kind of almost makes sense to go down to various places in South America.
Well, yeah, but also what I think is this. If you're, let's say you're like Aubrey Marcus from On It, right?
Okay.
And you're out in Peru doing ayahuasca and you meet a fucking amazing girl. That I have an easier time believing. A Dan Brazilian, whatever it is, that Dan Brazilian, the socialite guy. Anyway, there's a socialite guy, Dan Brazilian, that's like poker player that's always putting shit on Instagram with him on a yacht with a bunch of girls and all this shit. But anyway, like, if one of those guys is out there and finds a girl, well, I believe it because that guy could find a girl anywhere, you know?
Sure.
But when it's a dumpy motherfucker that's coming off a divorce in Palo Alto, right? And where he lives, his money and his Porsche don't impress girls more than a better looking guy who was actually cool with money and a Porsche.
Same thing, yeah.
So where did you go? Well, you go where there's no money and no Porsches and no white people. And all of a sudden, you're the best looking motherfucker there. So there's already like an overcompensation of some shit that you've been lacking here. You got to watch the show, dude. I mean, now there's been iterations of it that come out. First of all, there's the guy that looks like the Penguin from Batman.
Oh my God.
And the Penguin got himself a Thai girl.
Oh no.
And he had to pay a dowry of a bison and a goat to her family in Thailand.
That's not good.
To bring her here. And then it turns out Penguin has fallen in hard times. He don't make enough money. So he owes like $20,000 for the dowry still. And then they move here. He don't got a home.
What do you mean?
He don't got a home.
Where's he live?
He lives on top of a firehouse in an apartment that his best friend owns. Best friend is a black lady that is his wife. She don't like Penguin. And they've been supporting Penguin since Penguin's divorce.
Like
and then
Louis,
the daughter of Penguin.
Fucking School of Rock?
Yes, just like you, exactly like that. And then Penguin's daughter don't like Penguin because Penguin used to whore around with hookers when she was with Penguin's daughter's moms. And so then when the Thai girl who barely speaks the English comes to this country, she's dealing with all of this shit.
She's just another hooker.
Oh my goodness. And she's like, but here's the thing. She'd rather die for Penguin. She actually likes Penguin. Yes. Dude, this show, there's another guy. This other fucking guy is like 30 years old from like Pennsylvania, I think, or maybe, no, from Utah.
Ugh.
He's a Mormon. He lives in this. My people.
See, you are Mormon.
You got me. You got me.
Mormon.
You got me.
Damn it, I knew it.
So he lives in this ranch. He lives in this ranch
Mormon.
with his dad and his mom, right? It's a nice dude. And then he meets this girl, Evelyn, in Peru. They've been dating for like 5 years. She just told him she don't want to fucking get married. She don't want to be with him. She tried to move here. She didn't like it. So this guy invented, because they invented what they call 90 days the other way, where the American moves to the country. Yes. Oh, dude, dirt roads. Shacks with no AC. He's handling it, but then he shows up and it's actually be fucking everybody in town. The town is small and everybody know about it. And then his best friend there is the one she's been fucking. And the best friend's like, look, man, I love you and you're a good guy, but if you weren't here, I'd be all about it. And this is all on tape and he's out there. And then after that,
back?
Oh yeah, he goes back.
To America?
He comes back to America because his dad dies and he goes back and she's like, she don't pick him up from the airport. She does it. And then he's got to take a bus with all the shit and the chickens in the bus to the village that she's from. And she's like, well, I told him that he has to be self-sufficient because I can't just be dealing with him like he's a child. Now, during this time they've been dating for 5 years, he sent her about $60,000 where she is supposed to have started a business for him and bought a house. There's no such house. There's no such business. They still together. What? Yes, dude. You gotta watch the show. Now there's this other dude. His girl, she Brazilian in the Amazon. The first time she went there, bro. The first time this motherfucker went, and this is the spindliest, most peanut allergic motherfucker you could ever imagine in your life.
A real Dilbert.
Oh my goodness, bro. Oh my goodness.
In my head, I'm imagining Dilbert.
He lives at home with his mom, and the mom's like, oh my God, you gotta get it together. The mom loves him, but the mom's like, I can't do this shit with you no more. Well, he moves to motherfucking Brazil. He lands in Brazil, and then he had to take 3 boats down the Amazon River to get to the village where she was. Yes, bro.
3?
Yes. And he's doing this with all this like.
Please tell me this is all recorded.
Oh yeah. You gotta watch the show.
90 Day Fiance.
90 Day Fiance.
90 Day the other way.
And, well, that comes later, but you gotta start. You gotta walk.
Start there.
You gotta walk before you crawl.
No.
Because
before I crawl.
Believe me, you want to watch from the beginning.
Okay.
There's this other lady, this girl. She's like maybe 24, 25. She's from Florida, and she's with this guy from Morocco. His name is Hassan. And she goes to Morocco. Now, she's already a train wreck. She has a 4-year-old daughter with no baby daddy. She barely making ends meet. But the whole point of this, which is why I brought this, is that this 90-day visa. So what it means is like, so let's say you met a girl in another country and you wanted to bring her, right? And you get this K2 visa or whatever it's called. And that's a 90-day visa, which means she moves here and you have 90 days to get married.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's what the visa is predicated
Gotcha.
upon.
It's 90-day
right?
fiance. That makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, in order to do that, you become financially accountable for that person for the next 10 years.
So you're like almost a guardian in a way.
You are, yes, a fiscal guardian.
Gotcha,
Now, when they first move here, they can't drive or anything because it takes time. So all these people are like basically sequestered in their American girlfriend or boyfriend's house because they're not allowed to work.
Right.
They're not allowed to
go
do
out,
anything. A
not
lot of them
drive.
don't speak the language.
Oh, so it's just
so-
awful.
Yes, because part of the American thing is having this gilded bird.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of like, well, why the fuck? Why is it that this is the only way that this has worked for you and that this is appealing for you? And it starts coming to the surface. Why, dude? It's an interesting show, man. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
So let me go pee and then we'll talk about this award show.
Oh, well, it's very simple.
Why is the pee so bad?
I just want an award show for the casting. Whoever does casting for all of these. Teen Mom, 16 Pregnant,
Okay.
the casting people.
I understand.
The true heroes.
Okay.
I
Mr.
salute
Heroes.
you.
Okay. And we are back with all children of the beast. We are here with a special guest,
I got
the
it.
kids of the beast.
Please.
Hello. How are you doing today, Senior James?
Pretty good. Well, hi.
How was your week?
Awesome.
Yeah?
It was good.
Yesterday we went biking and we saw a coyote.
You saw a coyote? How big was this coyote?
It was like our dead dog caught a we called her Tatadera.
It was like the size of the dog we used to have.
Yeah.
Looked pretty big, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah? How was
Had,
it?
had like ears like the dog we still have, like Salvador Dali. And not only that, what's also cool is that all of these creatures walk on 4 legs.
So, James, can you help introduce our second special guest right here?
Yes, this is my little brother. His name is Michael. He walked out here wanting to join this
So, Mikey, can you say hi?
podcast. Hi.
Run the microphone, Mikey.
Right here.
Hi.
Hello. How are you doing today?
Good.
Good. That's good to hear.
Well, I guess I will be gone.
Hey, tell them, what can people look forward to next week? What are you going to have for people next week?
Next week, I'm gonna tell you some facts about different creatures.
Can't wait.
Are these like going to be prehistoric creatures or are they
Yes.
going to be
Like
current?
dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures.
All right. We'll look forward to that.
Okay,
Well,
well,
should we just close the show right here?
now
Yes.
I shall be gone.
I think we're all going to be gone. This has been the children of the. Oh my goodness, he disappeared.
He did a drop down. He did a drop out.
Okay. So this has been the children of the beast, joined by the actual children of this beast right here.
I'm not an actual beast.
A little bit beast.
I'm beast adjacent, I would say.
No, you're a beast. You're a beast. So that's it. That's the show, right?
Yeah,
Children
till
of the
next
Beast
week.
podcast. And until next week, you can find us on YouTube, Children of the Beast podcast. Like, subscribe, leave a comment on our videos. My friend Devin left a comment on our video about talking about how he's homeschooled and he turned out great.
See? There you go,
There
my
you
man.
go.
Thank you.
And you know what? He
Encouraging.
did turn out great. He's in
Yeah, I
a
like it.
master's program for microbiology.
They haven't seen New Mexico yet?
He is in Montana.
Montana. Nobody was in New Mexico.
No one.
No, that's my friend. That was John Howard, and he came back like 5 years ago. Anyway,
Anywho, you can follow me at Andrew_the Hut with 2 T's, just like Jabba the Hut. You can follow Carlos at Wolfchild1980
that's
on
correct.
Twitter, Instagram. I think they're both the same for both
Yes.
of us. Please like or on whatever podcast platform you like: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play.
We're on
Store.
Spotify too,
We're everywhere, baby.
just like Joe Rogan.
We're everywhere, baby.
I did not know about the Spotify deal. I'm very happy about it.
I mean, we've been on Spotify first, if anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were there before we were on Apple Podcasts.
I don't even have Spotify. I got to do a thing.
I mean, you don't really. It's okay.
This is going to happen for Rogan.
Regardless. Oh, yeah, you're right. Regardless, follow the show, subscribe, leave a review. Like we said last time, if you're not leaving a 5-star review, fuck you.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. That's
it.
it. The Children of the Beast. We'll talk to you next week. Goodbye.
Walk the walk, bitches.